Well, to help us break down the action so far and look ahead to next week's matches, we're now joined by Thulaganyo Gaoshubelwe, a sports executive and former professional football player. Thulaganyo, a very good evening to you. I don't know about you, and I know it is early stages, but already anxiety is there. But just help us unpack what we are currently seeing in this particular showpiece. I mean, how would you then assess just the overall quality of football we've been seeing so far in the World Cup?
Hi, Unati, and hi to your viewers and our listeners. Look, we've had great quality. We were a bit worried ourselves that we were lagging behind, as South Africa in particular.
Yeah.
Because our excitement would be informed by what we do as a country first and foremost. In as much as we know that the quality is good, but we'll always be biased towards home. We always want to bring it closer to home. As you would be aware that our first game we didn't do very well. There are a number of clubs, of course, as well that didn't do very well. But we are into second games, and we're hoping that the quality will continue to show, and we will continue to compete with the best. As South Africa coming back home, I don't think we've done badly, especially in yesterday's game. I'd said previously, our first approach against Czech was a bit defensive. We didn't give our best. We didn't give our best foot forward. However, yesterday we demonstrated that if we want to play and we are given a proper tactics or a proper strategy, we will then be able to employ proper tactics. But so far, I think we still stand a good chance and come next week to go to the last 32.
Yeah, I know you can't help but focus on what we are currently, going through. But South Africa aside, I mean, I want you to just give us a sense from your vantage point, which other, teams are standing out for you, which results have stood out for you the most in the opening round of fixtures, particularly if any teams have impressed or even disappointed you so far?
Look, from where I'm sitting, I think Morocco, for an example, as an African country, first and foremost, but secondly, because of what they did. Remember, they went all the way to the semi-finals in the last World Cup.
Yeah.
We would have expected probably that they would have dropped. But if anything, they have really, really impressed me in terms of how they were playing. They are playing Scotland, and I expect them to go all the way and really, really win. I think they've got a very good mixture of young and experienced players. I think they will go the long way. I've also watched the hosts, for an example, the Mexico. It's not necessarily what I had expected. I think they were very fortunate also yesterday. In my view, I watched them. The same way South Korea considered is the same way South Africa considered, because we're a bit defensive. But the quality is not yet there. It's okay, they are playing well, but not really there. But what I've also seen is that a lot of teams, given that they are 48 and they would be the best number 3, are not necessarily, or were not necessarily giving it their all, because they were playing for draws and or 3 points, with the view, at least with the expectation that they might be able to get to that top 3 or the best number 3 and make the last 32, as it were. But generally, I think from where I'm sitting, I'm not too sure if Argentina would be able to defend this. They are showing good signs. So is France. They are showing good signs. But I take that one team that really needs to improve a bit in terms of the scoring opportunities will be Spain. I watch them play, but they do have quality. But the unfortunate part is the finishing and so forth and whatnot. Well, come to Cape Verde, it surprised all of us, but I still believe that they could have even done much better and stolen at least a win and so forth. Yes, they defended very well against Spain, but I would also want to see them attack more, use those opportunities that they get, as they would have done trying to get the opportunities and give us the goal. The DRC Congo, they well expressed. They played very well against Portugal, and yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to be up there with the best? And I think we stand a very good chance. We could easily have about 3 or 5 teams, at the end of it all. I mean, who would forget about the Ivory Coast? I mean, stealing it at the death to say, boom, we are here, and this is what we would do. So there is really, I mean, a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think we are doing very well. So my bias will forgive me. I'm just being biased towards the other countries, and I believe that football has changed, and it has moved, and we'll be able to get to where we are.
Yeah, and just before we get into the other stuff, I want to just hold you on that. Just looking at some of the African teams. I mean, Africa is represented by a record 10 nations at this particular World Cup. Which teams then do you foresee or expect even to secure early qualifications for the knockout stages? Would you say?
I think Morocco. Morocco will lead the charges. It will be followed by Ivory Coast. All things considered, I hope that we beat South Korea. I'm hopeful that we can beat South Korea. We'll come to reasons why I think we can beat South Korea. And we beat them, we stand a good chance to really qualify. I think Ghana, they've got a very good squad as well.
I'm glad you mentioned Ghana, because I was just about to say, what about Ghana? I mean, they were one of those very few countries who managed to win their opening fixture.
No, absolutely. But when you look at their overall performance,
yeah,
you see that they're playing very well. But I think, just like there was some criticism towards Cristiano Ronaldo to say he wants to play for himself, he wants to be the one scoring and so forth.
Yeah,
I think if Ghana can just, take that element and say, we're going to play as a team, and whoever is in a position to bang this goal, let us give him that opportunity and the setup for them to score and get the necessary goal. But I think Ghana will definitely do well in getting, into the next squad. If Cape Verde can give us the performance or have the performance that they give against Spain, I think those 5 countries for me will then be able to take us somewhere.
I just want to talk about the other conversations that are happening, on the sidelines of this particular World Cup. A lot of conversations around, teams moving from one location to another, between matches, has become somewhat of a talking point in terms of being problematic. I mean, we look at, countries like even South Africa having to move from Mexico to the United States in the group stages. You look at countries like Iran, for example, having to move from country to country. How much do you think of that does affect the team or the teams?
Look, preferably you'd want to play your group stages in one place. All right, you get to South Africa, you get to Mexico, you play in Mexico, you stay there, and those that then proceed, they can then move forward. But you can see that there are quite a number of strange things with this World Cup in particular. We'll come to the geopolitics, as it involves Iran and all that. But when you look at it, there's also this new introduction of hydration breaks. What does that mean, in terms of that? It would seem like now with this traveling also, it's more of a hydration breaks for countries, moving from one country to the other and stuff. I don't think it does good for football in general, because you move from Mexico, you go to the US, you go into Atlanta, then from there you go back again to go and would have preferred a better logistical arrangement in terms of how they need to play. They would know how they do, why they're doing what they do, but I don't think it is good. It does well or augurs well for the players, as it were. And the issue of the hydration break, we have been talking about it. We know it's around the issues of sponsors and so forth. But you can imagine that after 23 minutes, you are pushing very hard because you want to equalize on that.
Yeah.
What happens? It breaks down your momentum. You're going to sit for 3 more minutes. But what is that for? I don't think it's a well thought of process. But of course, time will prove us right or wrong. But I think that they could do better in terms of those breaks, because it's got nothing to do with hydration break per se, but
Yeah.
it's all got to do with issues of what do you call it, advertising and so
Yeah.
forth.
And very
It,
quickly, in 30 seconds, because that's all the time we have left, which was for you the best match so far? I mean, there have been so many that have been mentioned: England and Croatia, as an example, Japan, Germany. Which were the standout matches for you?
look, for me, I want to go back to, because Cape Verde taught us again. It reminded me of the Italian football.
Yeah.
It taught us how to really get out there and defend and give us a bit of attacking football, as it were. I mean, counter attacks and so forth. So, if I were to say there was a match for me, that would definitely have been
Cape Verde and
that
Spain.
match that I really enjoyed. Yes,
Mm.
Germany played the first half of Germany against Karuka was good. They gave a good account of themselves. Unfortunately, experience showed us a different story to say this is where you go. But I think that's where it is. But outstanding for me would have been the what is this thing?
Cape Verde.
The Cape Verde, and lastly Morocco. I really enjoy Morocco, to be honest with you, and I think they'll go a long way. Yeah.
Thulaganyo, a pleasure speaking to you this evening. Thank you so much for those insights. And of course, let's look forward to more matches. And, hopefully you'll have more to say when we do speak next time. And good luck to South Africa, I think, from both of us.
We will keep on, as long as you brief me to say, look, it's fine. I will have 10 minutes. We'll work around the 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
And ensure that. Yes, it's just that I thought that we were just going to talk about but if I knew, I would have gone specifically to the specific issues and so forth.
No, this is
but
perfect.
an arrangement can, of course, be made.
Absolutely, absolutely.
How do we every week just come through?
Yeah.
And have this discussion, whether it's geopolitics within this football, whether it's policy issues.
Yes, absolutely.
Football, whether it's what. Let's have that discussion. Hence, I was asking at the time to say, I mean, how do your team structured? So,
no, Thulaganyo, thank you so much for that.
We will discuss.
Okay, great chatting to you. Thank you so much.